So we are talking skin health, hyperpigmentation, the relationship between the inside of the body, specifically the blood and the lymph, the circulatory system, and the health of the skin, the health of skin cells, and the health of the support structure, the scaffolding, the protein fibers that keep the skin from wrinkling, they keep your skin youthful looking and resilient and elastic and taut, as well as the molecular sponges that keep the skin moist. The skin is well equipped to be soft and moist and hydrated and wrinkle-free and sun-protected via its internal milieu, via the internal environment. If you have a skin condition, you got an internal condition with rare exceptions. There are topical skin allergies, of course, but they don't happen very often, very, very rarely. Rest assured, if you're dealing with a rash or eczema or itching or irritation of some kind or hyperpigmentation or acne or whatever, dry skin, you're dealing with an internal condition. In the case of pigment, which we've been talking about, it's so important. It's not just a superficial skin issue. If you're hyperpigmenting, this is a manifestation of a body that's in distress. If you are hyperpigmenting, if you're pigmenting in a splotchy way, or you got big old dark spots, your body is being burdened. You're punishing your body in some fashion. And this is the end result of some kind of burden, stress, punishment on the body. Doesn't sound that good when you think about it. We punish our bodies. We punish our bodies with drugs. We punish our bodies with sugar. We punish our bodies with McDonald's. We punish our bodies with almost all of our day-to-day health, our day-to-day strategies, not health strategies, but ways we get by. These are ways we punish our bodies. And then we complain or we go to the doctor. When our bodies respond, hyperpigmentation is just a sign that we've been punishing our body. We've been mean to our body that loves us. This is so important. Hyperpigmentation is a manifestation of the stress response. Now, when we hear the word stress, we immediately think of our bills and our jobs and our kids and our families and the New World Order and whatever stressors, things that we think are stressful. Think are stressful or feel are stressful. And it's true. These can be major stressors. Certainly the mind and the emotion can create a burden on the chemistry. But what makes these things stressors is the chemistry. It's the physiology. Ultimately, it's not the emotions of stress that make them. It's not the emotions of stress that make it so burdensome. It's the biochemistry. From a physical perspective, when we're talking stress, and I'm not marginalizing mental stress or emotional stress, they're important. But when it comes right down to it, it's a physical condition. And while fear and anger and grief and worry and sadness, these all change biochemistry, the most direct, instantaneous way to create and initiate a stress response that will show up as pigment on the skin or acne or anything else, dryness or psoriasis or eczema. These are all manifestations of a body in distress. And that's not just skin. Constipation, stress issue. High blood pressure, stress issue. Slow healing, stress issue. Immune problems, stress issue. Cancer, heart disease, whatever. These are all stress issues. And by stress, I mean biochemistry stress. And that includes melasma. So we're looking, when we talk about biochemical stress, we're talking about food, we're talking about sugar, we're talking about drugs and other toxins. And by the way, why is it that illegal drugs are so terrible for us, but when the doctor prescribes them, all of a sudden they're health tools? All of a sudden your insurance company will pay for your Prozac, but you go to jail for your crack or your meth or your LSD or whatever it is, your marijuana. Why is it that illegal drugs are so horrific that we see commercials every day warning us about how dangerous they are? Find out the truth about crack. And you see freaked out teenagers and stumbling supermodels, and this is your brain on drugs, and all these public service announcements warning us about the dangers of drugs. But prescription drugs, no, those are so good for us that we see commercials for them every day, every hour of every day, encouraging us to take prescription drugs, to go talk to your doctor to get your prescription drugs. All right. That's just a little digression there. Of course, the biggest stressors is hypoxia, low blood oxygen. And also, by the way, nutritional deficiencies count as a stressor. So between food, sugar, drugs, low levels of oxygen, nutritional deficiencies, these are the major physiologic stressors, and all of them will result in hyperpigmented skin, in darkened skin. And if anybody tries to sell you a topical product like Beverly Hills MD with kojic acid or Kaduku plum, I think that's how you say Kaduku plum, or Kakadu plum maybe, whatever it is, silly ingredients to lighten the skin. These are silly, silly, silly. There's only two major non-toxic skin lighteners that you can use with any great effect. 2 of them, and I'll tell you what those are here in a second. We've talked about them at length already. But from a physiologic perspective, if you are hyperpigmenting, you got to control the food aspect, look for problem foods and eliminate them. You got to look for, and by the way, this is why caloric restriction is so effective. Any food can act as a stressor. Any food. Spinach can be a stressor. Lettuce can be a stressor. I can't tell you how many folks I talk to say, oh, well, I just eat vegetables. I can't have a digestive problem. Oh, I can't have a food problem. I only eat salad. I'm gluten-free. It doesn't matter if you're gluten-free. If you got a symptom, if you got skin problems, if you got inflammatory problems, if you got arthritis, if you got kidney issues, it doesn't matter if you're gluten-free. There's a million things people can react to. And by the way, this should be good news, because this is where we have control over our bodies. The most important way we control our body's chemistry is with food, as well as with, and that includes sugar, as well as with oxygen. The way the body protects itself is with something that's called the inflammatory response, inflammation. When you hear inflammation, you want to think of protection. Inflammation is a protective response. And even though we've been conditioned to believe that inflammation is a bad thing, I saw a commercial for some Crohn's disease drug. I forgot what it was. The lady on the voiceover, a gal who's doing the voiceover, she says, "We now know what causes Crohn's disease." And then she says, "It's damaging inflammation." Ooh, damaging inflammation. Listen, folks, inflammation is one of our best friends. We couldn't live without inflammation. The human body couldn't have survived the 2 million years it's been on planet Earth without inflammation. Inflammation is one of, if not our best biological friend. It's our guardian, our protector, and a necessary prerequisite for healing to occur. And this is why anti-inflammatories are so problematic. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this.
You are an individual with your own thoughts, decisions, and actions. So why should you be penalized for not enrolling in the subpar health insurance mandated by the government? Be truly independent. Visit libertyoncall.org. LibertyOnCall.org is a bold, innovative alternative allowing you to take back control and make your own decisions about your healthcare. Mention this ad when you call to learn more. 800-714-6993. That's 800-714-6993. LibertyOnCall.org. Call today.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Okay, open your mouth and say ah.
Ah. When your child has a sore throat, you need to know when to get help. The doctor recommended Say Ah Sore Throat Exam is your solution. The scientifically designed oral retractor offers a clear view of the throat, relaxing the tongue and minimizing gag reflex. Compare with a medical grade chart, website, and app. Then you'll know just what to tell your doctor. A wellness plan in your hands in minutes. Go to SAYAHHnow.com. SayAhNow.com. The new mainstay for every family's first aid kit.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Okay, honey, I have to ask, and be honest here. Have you been taking a little blue pill? Because things have been pretty good in the bedroom lately.
No, I swear.
You didn't pick anything up at the Pharmacia last month in Cancun?
No.
Well, something's different.
I have been taking that heart and body extract you bought me.
But that's for your heart and to control your cholesterol.
Well, I read HB extract also promotes healthy prostate function.
I never guessed it would work this well,
But you're glad it did.
Oh, yeah.
Heart and Body Extract is a 100% organic formula that promotes a strong heart, healthy arterial flow, better circulation, improves erectile and prostate gland function, and provides youthful energy, strength, and stamina. Find out more at heartandbodyextract.com. Heart and Body Extract paired with healthy heart choices is a winning combination. Call toll-free to order or for free information. 1-866-295-5305. 1-866-295-5305.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit, then carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
My name's Clyde, age 59, and I reside in Florence, South Carolina. The doctors diagnosed me as having clogged arteries. It felt like I was carrying heavy concrete blocks around my feet and legs. I started taking Heart and Body Extract as directed. It is less than 3 weeks, and I'm like a young man again. It's unbelievable that an herbal formula can work so fast and so powerfully.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Quantitative easing, unemployment at depression levels, Europe financial system falling apart, China getting out of U.S. treasuries. At the end of 2008, the time of TARP, the national debt was at $11 trillion, gold trading around $850 per ounce. Close to 2012, the national debt exceeded $16.4 trillion, gold doubled to $1,600 per ounce. The $20 trillion threshold for the national debt is inevitable. Politicians in Washington have a ferocious appetite for spending and stimulus. What's worse, a printing press to finance. 100 years ago, we had a gold standard to limit this madness, but now you have to adopt your own gold standard. Don't be fooled with paper promises. Get Midas Resources 10 Reasons to Buy Gold free by calling 800-686-2237. Understanding the gold and silver market may be the only insurance you could have to avoiding the next economic crisis. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order your free copy. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state in back taxes, you know they'll never stop coming after you. With bank levies, wage garnishments, they'll even seize your home or business. The good news? A government program for tax debt forgiveness. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative.
I'm Paul Sibley with U.S. Tax Shield. We can help navigate the new laws, get you protected, and resolve your tax issues permanently.
Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield now for your free consultation and get a guaranteed quote to resolve your case. Call 800-436-6451. That's 800-436-6451.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Everyone says or does something silly once in a while, but once that embarrassing thing is on the internet, it can spread like a terrible rash. Put it to rest. Get a free expert analysis today from Reputation.com. It only takes 30 seconds. 800-831-0771. We protect your online image by helping to make sure that when people search for you or your business, they find the most current, accurate information possible. Reputation.com, because word travels fast. Call for a free analysis today. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Many are in disbelief today after word of shocking allegations against a Minnesota-based talk syndication company known as GCN. It's claimed that they're the fourth largest talk syndication company in the U.S., making it even more scandalous that they've been accused of helping business owners expose themselves on a massive scale. Let's go live to Tom for more on this story.
It's being called the greatest exposure of our lifetime, while other business owners are beginning to step forward claiming they too exposed themselves with the help of GCN.
It's true. They're all guilty. Every last one of them. GCN helped me get the exposure my company needed, and just think, that was years ago. Today, GCN has like 700 affiliate stations and over 6 million downloads from iTunes and their website every month.
Imagine the exposure your company can get. Expose your business to the masses. Email advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective. GCN.
So we're talking pigmentation, hyperpigmentation from, this is from, April 6th, the April 6th edition of the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology. 3-drug combo cream effective for melasma. Cream containing 4% hydroquinone, 10% glycolic acid, and get this, 0.01% high hyaluronic acid. We've talked about that before. High hyaluronic acid is one of the skin's most important moisturizers, very important for healing. And a cream with 0.01% HA, high hyaluronic acid, along with 10% glycolic and 4% hydroquinone is very effective for the treatment of melasma. And this is from Tanta University Hospital in Egypt and published in the Journal of Cosmetic Chemistry. Here's the deal, though. What they don't tell you. Hydroquinone's toxic stuff. Glycolic acid, now, we're going to talk about glycolic acid. That stuff's amazing. Alpha-hydroxy acids in general are amazing. Lactic acid, citric acid, glycolic acid. But as far as melasma goes, as far as hyperpigmentation goes, you're dealing with an internal problem. And while you may be able to speed up the sloughing off of pigment, and we're going to talk about some really cool exfoliation techniques, chemical exfoliation as well as mechanical exfoliation techniques for sloughing off pigment, for sloughing off melasma or hyperpigmentation, it's going to come right back. Because it's an internal condition. It's a manifestation of the stress response. And when I say a manifestation of the stress response, I'm talking about a manifestation of the inflammatory response. Stress and inflammation go hand in hand. Inflammation is one of the ways the body protects itself from a stressor. Inflammation is a good thing. Inflammation is probably the most, certainly one of the most important properties of all living things that repair themselves. You can't repair yourself. Organisms, biological organisms, cannot repair themselves after injury without an inflammatory response. And if you go to the doctor, you're going to get it for anything pretty much. One of the first medications you're going to get, or you're going to think about getting, is Motrin or Tylenol or aspirin or naproxen or prednisone. Or now you have fancy biologic anti-inflammatories. According to Global Business Research, GB Research, Global Business Intelligence Research, I should say, GBI Research, the worldwide sales of anti-inflammatory drugs are in the $60 billion a year range. 60B. And the profit margin on these things is unreal. People think oil has a high profit margin. If the profit margin on these drugs, you're talking drugs that cost a penny are sold for $1,000. So when you talk about a $60 billion range for anti-inflammatory sales in the $60 billion a year range, you're talking about $59.9 billion in profit. GBI Research continues to say that the anti-inflammatory market around the world is going to be $90 billion a year by 2017. There is a huge profit incentive to putting you on a drug, an anti-inflammatory drug. It's not in your healing interest. It may be in a pain interest or a pain reduction interest, and nobody wants pain, obviously. But if you have to take a drug, an anti-inflammatory drug or any drug, fine, take it. But your number one health objective should be to wean yourself off of it. In addition to being the most powerful or among the most powerful classes of medications, they're also a leading cause of drug toxicity anti-inflammatories. I shouldn't say powerful, but among the most commonly used medications, they're also a leading cause of toxicity. And that, by the way, includes aspirin, Motrin, Tylenol, and the more benign, supposedly more benign, over-the-counter anti-inflammatories. The reason for the toxicity of the anti-inflammatory drugs is because when the body wants to inflame, you got to really, really tweak its chemistry to suppress it. Inflammation is a fundamental response. Living entities, living beings could not, human beings and animals could not survive without this inflammatory response. Shutting it down artificially, pharmaceutically, medically, is a risky proposition. Every single health challenge we have to endure, from broken bones to pimples to heart disease to cancer to autoimmunity, involve this phenomena of inflammation, of protection. And skin diseases and melasma are no different. Melasma is an inflammatory condition. There's even a type of melasma they call post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. It's not really post-inflammatory, it's inflammatory. It's associated with inflammation. That tells us something. It tells us melasma is a part of the body's protective response, which means that the medical strategy of eliminating melasma by using hydroquinone or using topical ingredients is not going to take care of the problem. Now, this is not magical here. This is not sexy and titillating and special magical formula, magical cream, use this supplement. This is simple basics. Diet, eliminating or reducing sugar, staying away from toxins, making sure you're deep breathing, moving your circulatory system, getting on a rebounder. It's the same stuff we always talk about. I hope nobody's out there thinking that this is silly or this is just airy-fairy. It's not medicine. It's not health. It's not healing. It's the basics of healing. By the way, did you know melasma, hyperpigmentation, dark spots are a female issue? 90% of hyperpigmenting patients are women. Now, what is that telling us? How interesting is that? Did you know that the vast majority of fibromyalgia patients are women? Did you know the vast majority of hypothyroid patients are women? Do you know the majority of autoimmune disease patients are women? Chronic fatigue is a woman's issue as well. What is it that's going on with women's bodies that makes them more susceptible to melasma and hypothyroidism and fibromyalgia and autoimmunity? This is a very interesting point. When a health issue involves mostly women, this is significant. It's a clue. Whenever you have a health issue, whether it's MS or myasthenia gravis or Sjogren's syndrome, autoimmune diseases of all kinds, fibromyalgia, whatever, melasma, whenever you have a health issue that affects mostly women, you can bet your bottom dollar that estrogen is involved. Estrogen is well known as a female hormone, but it's much more than a female hormone. Not that men don't have estrogen, they don't have as much as women, but they got estrogen too. Estrogen is a serious player in the immune, inflammatory, and protective response. In fact, more than anything else, estrogen is an inflammatory hormone. It causes cells to swell up. It affects water flow into cells, water absorption by cells. Why would it affect water absorption by cells? Well, cells need to be filled with water before they divide, and this is really what estrogen's role is. It's to help cells divide. That's why it's involved with cysts and fibroids and all inflammation. It's an inflammatory hormone. And here's the take-home message about estrogen. If you're dealing with any estrogen issues, whether it's a female reproductive issue, PMS, autoimmunity, whatever, there's a take-home message here on how you can handle this. And I'll tell you what it is when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. Lines open for you at 844-236-6010. If you're on hold, we'll get to you in just a moment here. I want to say a couple more things about melasma and hyperpigmentation. We're going to talk about it for a few more days. We'll talk about some topical strategies as well as internal strategies here in the next couple of days. Hyperpigmentation, melasma, dark spots, this is a female issue. Like a lot of health issues, hypothyroidism, autoimmune diseases, these are all largely affect women. A lot more estrogen than men do. And so, in terms of biochemistry anyway, this is a key distinction. Whenever there's a health challenge that affects mostly women, almost always you're going to find estrogen lurking behind it. And when I say estrogen, I mean the estrogen family. Yes, estrogen is not a single substance. It's a family of substances. Estrogen is processed by the body either into being eliminated out of the body, or, and this is where it becomes problematic, there are breakdown products of estrogen that are toxic. There are breakdown products of estrogen when estrogen is not completely processed. And this is largely a digestive system issue and a liver issue. When estrogen is not completely processed, either through the digestive tract, through bacteria, probiotics, good bacteria, or through the liver, toxic estrogen byproducts build up, and bingo. This is where you get your autoimmune diseases from. This is where you get your hyperpigmentation issues from. This is where you get your chronic fatigue from. This is where you get your fibromyalgia from. Once again, demonstrating the primacy of digestive health when it comes to keeping the body strong and vital and healthy. If you have an estrogen problem, and if you got an autoimmune disease, chances are pretty good you do. If you got PMS, if you got endometriosis, if you got a reproductive issue, if you have melasma or hyperpigmentation, if you're dealing with anything that involves estrogen, and all of these issues involve estrogen. If you're dealing with a health challenge that is basically a female issue, hypothyroidism, for example, or fibromyalgia, you got to focus on estrogen, and that means focusing on not only the hormone, but how the body processes it. Now, as far as estrogen goes, one of the best things you could do to balance estrogen is to use progesterone. Progesterone balances out estrogen. You can use progesterone cream. You get a prescription for progesterone oral, capsules or sublingual. Or you can, if you don't want to deal with the prescription route, you can use pregnenolone. We've talked about that a lot. Pregnenolone isn't quite like progesterone, but it's over the counter. It's easy to find. 100 milligrams or 200 milligrams a day. Anybody dealing with melasma would be very wise to use either progesterone or pregnenolone. As far as making sure that you process estrogen correctly, there's a ton of ways to do it. I'll just give you a couple, and then we'll get your phone calls, and we'll continue tomorrow. But just so you know, if you're dealing with melasma, you're dealing with hyperpigmentation, you're dealing with an autoimmune issue, you're dealing with PMS or menstrual cycle problems, you're missing periods, any estrogen issues, hot flashes, anything that involves estrogen, there are wonderful nutritional supplements that you can use, and most of them involve the health of the liver and the health of the digestive tract. One of my all-time favorite liver supplements for strengthening the liver, protecting the liver, and you don't have to have an estrogen problem to benefit from liver supplements that protect the liver. One of my all-time favorites is something called alpha lipoic acid, ALA. Now, it's not an essential nutrient. We don't talk about it all the time, but it's super duper important. And it's awesome for helping the body process estrogen. It's one of the most powerful liver nutrients you could use. It's one of the most powerful anti-aging nutrients you could use. And it's got benefits for the skin, too. There's actually topical products that use alpha-lipoic acid. Dr. Perricone made a name for himself by using it as a topical ingredient. Now, it's not so great topically, but internally, it is unbelievably important for the cell, the health of the cell, for the energy center of the cell. We talked about how melasma, hyperpigmentation, in many ways is a result of the breakdown of energy, or the difficulty with cells processing energy. From where is this here? This is from where did I get this from? FASEB journal. Melanoma, which is not hyperpigmentation, but it's a pigment cell issue. Melanoma. Scientists find a new link between pigment production and mitochondria. Mitochondria, those little elements inside cells that give it energy or help it process energy, they start to break down. We get pigment problems, including melanoma. This one was published last Thursday in the journal Cell Reports. Alpha-lipoic acid has an essential role in mitochondria, the energy-producing element of a cell, says senior author Wayne Alexander, MD, PhD, professor of medicine at Emory University School of Medicine. By the way, melanoma is not a skin issue. I know we said that before, but I got a call yesterday, and more people seems like are getting melanoma. Melanoma is a pigment cell issue, and we have pigment cells inside our body. That's why Jimmy Carter's got melanoma in his liver. So sure, his liver didn't get any sunshine, right? He's got it in his brain, too. His brain didn't get any sunshine either. All right. Alpha-lipoic acid, 200 to 400 milligrams a day. Awesome, awesome stuff. We had a guest on a couple of months ago who was using alpha-lipoic acid for pain, for neuralgia, nerve pain. It's just an awesome supplement. It's a little pricey, and it's a little bit difficult to find. It's not an essential nutrient now. It's not like the Mighty 90 essential nutrients, but it is still, it could be very, very helpful for longevity, according to this study, for telomeres, for melasma, hyperpigmentation, and you can find alpha-lipoic acid pretty much at most health food stores, although it's not as readily available as the Mighty 90 essential nutrients. Okay, we'll continue talking about melasma. We'll talk estrogen. We'll talk how you can stabilize estrogen, protect your body from estrogen, keep it being processed correctly. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who's been listening to this program that the digestive system plays a major role in how estrogen is processed. When we talk about estrogen toxicity, by the way, and we do talk about it a lot on this program, and you hear about it a lot, it's not the estrogen itself that's toxic. It's the breakdown products of estrogen that are toxic. And keeping estrogen processing flowing smoothly, the estrogen machinery of the body, the estrogen detoxifying or breakdown machinery operating pristinely is a key element of improving autoimmune disease, of improving hypothyroidism, of improving melasma, of reducing the likelihood of cancer, of reducing the formation of cysts and fibroids, of improving PMS and reproductive health issues, endometriosis and such. It is just so darn important to understand how to work with the estrogen system, not just for men, or not just for women, but for men as well. Okay, 844-236-6010 is our number. We do have lines open for you. Let's go to Steve in Virginia. What's going on, Steve? How you doing, buddy?
Hi there. Thank you.
Hey.
Nice to talk with you again. There's somebody I was calling about who was complaining of water on the knee, and we wanted to give some.
What does water on the knee mean? You're my only caller here, Steve. So we're going to chat for a little bit. What does that mean?
To me, that means just an excess, for some reason, an excess of the synovial fluid there, at the joint.
You're on the right track. Now, why would there be an excess of fluid? What would that be caused by?
I know years ago, actually, I had that when I was in grade school, and
I'm going to keep you on track. I'm trying to work with you here, Steve. We got to take a break, but when we come back, because I want to work with you here. I want you to see how this whole thing happens. I want you to think about why would there be water in the knee? Why would the body doesn't make any mistakes. Why would the body put water on the knee? What would be the purpose of that? Hang tight, Steve, and we'll come back and we'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. We'll be back right after this. All right, got a new drug for radiation now. It's called TP-508. This is from the journal Laboratory Investigation. The peptide drug TP-508, which was developed for stimulating repair of skin, bone, and muscle tissue. Only God knows how a drug can stimulate growth of anything, drugs being poisons. Anyway, the drug, which was supposedly designed to heal diabetic foot ulcers and wrist fractures, is a peptide. It's a protein chemical. It's now being used to combat the deadly effects of radiation exposure. According to the journal, a single injection of the regenerative peptide was shown to significantly increase survival in mice 24 hours after they were exposed to nuclear radiation. One of the best ways to protect yourself from radiation exposure and heavy metals and such is alpha-lipoic acid. I love this stuff. I've been taking 500 milligrams a day for years. Alpha-lipoic acid is a little tricky to work with. That's why you don't see it in a lot of supplements, and it is expensive. And it's not one of the Mighty 90 essential nutrients, but it is an awesome supplement for anti-aging, for the liver, and also for protecting yourself from some of the toxic effects of estrogen byproducts or estrogen derivatives. We'll talk more about estrogen and melasma and pregnenolone and progesterone and digestive strategies and topical strategies as well in the coming days on the bright side. Okay, we got Steve in Virginia. By the way, we got a couple lines open at 844-236-6010. Steve, are you there, buddy? Okay, so I want you to work with me because I want you to see how this... I want you to do this with me. You're just as smart as I am. I'm no smarter than you. We just got to work through this step by step. Water on the knee. What is the body trying to accomplish?
Well, I know my understanding, at least in some cases, is maybe it could be a reaction to trauma.
There you go. That's exactly what it is. It's a protective response. Water's a cushion. You know, water's like a shock absorber. So when you say water and fluid, this is part of the inflammatory response. Inflammation, if you go to medical school, they tell you that inflammation is marked by 4 things. And they say it in Latin: dolor, calor, tumor, rubor. Dolor means pain. Calor means heat. Rubor means redness. And tumor means growth or swelling. That swelling is a cushioning response. It's a shock absorber, and the way the body accomplishes this is with water. So water on the knee is just a colloquial way of saying inflammation. He has inflammation on the knee. That means the body's trying to protect something in the knee. Now, if he hasn't had a mechanical issue, in other words, if he didn't fall or twist, or he's an athlete or something and he did something to his knee, chances are that the tissue is starting to break down and become dysfunctional. And when tissue breaks down and becomes dysfunctional, the body feels like it needs to protect the rest of the area from this broken down tissue, and that's what the water in the knee is from. So, assuming he's not an athlete, is your friend, did he twist it? Was he skiing, playing basketball, something like? No?
That's the thing. I'm lacking in the history.
Okay, well, we're just going to assume he wasn't. We're going to go with the degenerative aspect of it rather than the trauma aspect of it. So we're going to assume it's a degenerative condition. This is a guy whose connective tissue, whose joint tissue, the knee is a joint, whose joint tissue is breaking down. Do you see how you see the logic here? Water in the knee is an inflammatory protective response. What is it protecting itself from? Some kind of degeneration or some kind of breakdown. Now, if he's got a digestive issue, that's going to make things worse because there's inflammatory factors that can come in through food. So your strategies are going to be, number one, always. This is always true. I know you've been listening to the show, Steve, for years, right? Always, what's the first thing? The digestive system. Not because I'm some kind of health nut. Not because it's a fad or it's the cool thing to say, but because stuff gets into the blood only through the digestive system unless you're injecting it.
Right.
So you got to focus on digestive health. Now, the fact that we live with a food supply that didn't exist 200 years ago, I mean, the foods most of us are eating didn't exist a couple hundred years ago, and our bodies are having to deal with all of this foreign food, that just compounds the problem. So first thing you do is you protect the digestive system with probiotics. That's the Biolumin Nightly Essence, digestive enzymes, the ultimate enzymes with meals, and take it with a little apple cider vinegar to activate the enzymes. And then whenever you have swelling or inflammation, if you take your ultimate enzymes on an empty stomach, in addition to taking them for your meals, you'll get anti-inflammatory effects. They'll help break up inflammation. Okay, now I said at the beginning of the program that inflammation is your friend. You don't necessarily want to, that's not a great strategy, but if he's miserably uncomfortable, that might be something that he wants to do. Then, in addition to building up the digestive system, you can build up the connective tissue. Now, here's something very cool. The digestive system is also composed of connective tissue. So in addition to using strategies for building the joints, such as the glucogel caps and bone soup and cartilage-containing products, you're also going to get a side benefit. You're going to strengthen your digestive tract. So get them on the glucogel caps, get them on the Fuchs Z. Both of those are important for building connective tissue. And then also bone soup and cartilage-containing products, and also more protein. Protein builds connective tissue. Protein's the raw material for connective tissue. It's also the raw material for the connective tissue in the gut. And if he does have a digestive problem, he's going to have an issue absorbing protein anyway. So by working on the digestive system, making sure he's getting his cartilage, throwing in the Fuchs Z, and then also more protein. And I like liquid protein. Whey protein is my favorite, but protein's a little bit tricky to absorb. So if you can do your protein in smoothies and soups, that's usually a little bit more effective than steak and hamburger. Yeah. And unfortunately, even though human beings are omnivores, we're designed to eat both meat and vegetables. We're designed to eat anything, really. Meat today is just not great food, unfortunately. And unfortunately, too, fish is not great food either because of how toxic the oceans are. Nonetheless, there is good protein value in both of those, especially organ meats if you're going to do meat. And then fish also is a little bit easier to digest. And then make sure he's using his Mighty 90 essential nutrients. Don't forget vitamin C, which is an anti-inflammatory vitamin as well as an anti-stress vitamin. help reduce some of the stress response, which is associated with inflammation. And vitamin C, by the way, works hand in hand with glucosamine. So whenever you take glucosamine, the glucogel caps, you always want to take a little bit of vitamin C with it. Vitamin C and glucosamine work together. A couple other miscellaneous strategies that might help. Vitamin E, 400 international units a day. And don't forget that alpha lipoic acid. Also, the ultimate selenium might be helpful too.
Okay. And, of course, staying away from the sugars.
Absolutely. Staying away from sugar is all. If you want to pick 3 just basic general strategies for dealing with any health condition, work on the digestive system, stabilize the blood sugar, make sure you're oxygenating, and I call that, of course, those 3 points, I call those the triangle of disease. They're always going to precede all breakdown and all disease. All right, I want to get to a couple more calls, my friend. Thanks so much, Steve.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, buddy. Take care. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Chris Jackson. I'm a Bible scholar, and I got some information about that stock market crash that I think Alex Jones needs to know.
You do? Well, you got to call Alex Jones, though. You got to call Alex. But what do you got going on? Now I'm curious. We only have about a minute. Alex will be on next. Why don't you tell our listeners?
Okay. Well, what's going on right now is that I'm a Bible scholar. I've been studying the Bible for years.
Now, you only got a minute, my friend, so get to the... Yeah. 1973,
Roe versus Wade happened. That was a sin against God. 7 years later, on a Sabbath year, on Elul 29, the stock market crashed in the United States. 7 years later, 1987, Elul 29, which was approximately September 12th. This year, it'll be September 12th. The stock market crashed yet again. Fast forward to 2001 on September 11th, Elul 29.
What are you saying, Elo? I'm not hearing what you're saying. Elo?
Well, basically, you have to look from the Jewish perspective.
What does Elo mean?
Elul is the month of the Jewish calendar. It's
a Jewish month.
Yeah, and it's also happens at the end of the Shemitah year or the Sabbath year when the Jews had to not use land.
I'm just a little old pharmacist, dude. You're over my head here. But what are you going to tell me about the stock market crash?
Well, the stock market, I'm just warning people to get their money and protect it, because every Elul 29 markets reset on the Sabbath year, at the end of the Sabbath year, and that's why we've been having the stock market crash.
What is the American version of Elul 29? What's the English version?
Well, exactly, on September 11th.
September 11th is Elul 29?
Yes.
Interesting. I did not know that. Well, what? This is a health show, but that was kind of interesting. Thanks for your input. I appreciate it, man. All right. Take care. Call Alex Jones. He'll be on next. That's kind of strange, but interesting. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Tomorrow we'll continue talking alpha lipoic acid and estrogen and hyperpigmentation. We'll also tell you about 2 little tiny glands in the body that play a major, major role in skin health, whether you're dealing with acne or oily skin or hyperpigmentation. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. We'll cover that tomorrow, and we'll tell you about a super important vitamin for those 2 little glands. We'll do all that tomorrow in the coming days as we continue talking melasma on the bright side. Thanks for listening. Check out my website, brightsideben.com. If you're interested in purchasing any of my Truth Treatment products, it's at truthtreatments.com. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have a spectacular, awesome, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey neighbor, what are you doing digging? You had a heart attack last year.
Oh, I know. I was told no more hard labor.
Then why are you digging?
Well, I've been taking Extendovite. It's been approved to help my heart.
Extendivite? Is that a new drug?
No, not a drug. It's more like an herbal combination made from garlic and cayenne.
Herbal? How can that help?
Well, actually, we've taken herbs for thousands of years. And Extendivite is doing the job for me.
Does your doctor know about Extendivite?
Yeah, my doctor knows, and he said it seems to be working for you, so don't stop taking it. I feel great taking Extendivite. I don't want to stop.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
The human body is more than 60% water. Your brain and muscles are 75% water. And your blood is 92% water. Water is vital to your body, and alkalizing your water is the key to keep it running at its best. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops keep your entire body healthy, boosts energy, promotes weight loss, and even fights cancer. Call 800-518-7615 or go to alkavision.com to find out more. That's ALKAvision.com.
Awesome health can no longer be attained from food alone. Since the advent of chemical agriculture in 1945, U.S. soils have become progressively more demineralized and infertile. Human health has correspondingly declined. To reverse this trend and to even have a chance at feeling great requires sophisticated supplementation to make up for what is not in our foods. When our bodies are mineral deficient, they require more protein. We suggest you begin with One World Whey. One World Whey is a new and improved protein power food. Our technological enhancement yields us a whey protein that produces phenomenal results. All case histories indicate that your body functions in a more youthful manner. One World Whey not only supports detoxification, building of lean muscle, and immunity, it strongly supports your energy and sense of well-being. One World Whey tastes delicious and comes in single servings. Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Turn on the news and you'll hear stories of natural disasters, political unrest, and financial crisis. In times of uncertainty, how will you take care of your family's most basic needs? Food Insurance, America's most trusted provider of freeze-dried emergency food, has solutions that fit your family's needs and budget. Our meals are delicious, nutritious, and come with a guaranteed 25-year shelf life. For a limited time, we are sending a free freeze-dried meal to all listeners of this program. Go to foodinsurance.com and request your free meal today. That's foodinsurance.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Are you excited about the World Wide Web? Do you want a place where you can share your ideas and express yourself? Well, dial up your modems and stream on down to the GCN Live Community Forum. Lots of radical features await you there.
Wow, Internet guy, I am so glad I went to the GCN Live Community Forum.
You too can discover why the World Wide Web is awesome. Just go to gcnlive.com/forum. That's gcnlive.com/forum. I'll see you in cyberspace. Friend GCN Live on Diaspora and Cross.tv.